Everybody, we are back. It is Safe to Live's favorite race podcast, favorite race channel, favorite race everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. It pops up there. Oh, there it goes. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me and at mholder95 for Matt. And then of course, pandasubs.com discount code for TDL. So we had a beatdown of the Giants, 30-6. The Raiders scored over 20 points.
Did it
for the first time? They did it.
Finally did it.
Yeah, man.
Wonder what changed.
I don't know. I guess a coaching change. I guess a coaching change made a big difference here. The Raiders actually, they on offense they look a lot better. The running game looks a lot better. I mean, it slowed down at the end of the game, but I thought they set the tone really early on. The passing game looked pretty good. I thought they had a good game plan to get the ball out of O'Connell's hands pretty quick, and there's some drops in there too. So even he played a lot, played pretty well. And then of course Daniel Jones going down was really the big part of this game. Yeah, I
think it was still 7-0 at that point too. And at that point, and like even the 7-0 lead against the Giants felt like already kind of big. And then when Daniel Jones goes out, I'm like, well, I just watched their offense last week. I feel pretty confident about this moving forward. And then props to the Raiders defense though, stepped at 8 sacks today.
Yeah,
some of them were some gimmies, getting some pressure on there. So. Overall outstanding game. I mean, like you said, I thought the offense looked a lot more creative, which I liked a lot better today too. Like Devontae Adams didn't even have a very good game. Like I felt like the Giants like winked at a pretty good job of taking him away, but like that was the one difference that I felt like in the last year and a half is like they were actually feeding the ball to other guys and able to get like more people involved. Like Jacoby Myers, even Trey Tucker hitting one down the field for a 50-yard bomb. I think Trey Tucker ended up leading the team receiving, and then, like you said, getting the running game going was huge. So, and we got to give some props. Got to give some shout out to our guy Andre James. I mean, Dexter Lawrence. We only saw him make a couple of plays. We were worried about him in the shot from the get go, and ended up shutting him down.
Yeah. Dan Jones getting hurt was a big part of this game, even though he wasn't playing well. He had some ugly throws early on. Ugly throws. But him going down was a big deal because Tommy DeVito, he was just running around like with his chicken, like his head cut off. He was just running around in circles. It was like he couldn't know what to do. I was like, okay, I just run. He started running around in circles. I think they got 8 sacks. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he was running around like a third-string quarterback on a 2-17. Like he's like, you know what? Screw it. This is just my time right now. I'm gonna try and see if I can make something happen. But
oh man, he's literally running around in circles. But they played pretty well. I mean, the offensive line did a good job. We didn't hear Dexter Lawrence's name all day. So, I mean, we didn't see too much pressure there on Aidan O'Connell, but I thought they had a good game plan around him. They really tried to throw inside a lot and try to get the ball out of his hands, especially early on. A lot of those slants, a lot of those quick throws. They're getting some big plays on that. We got a couple. We got one to Renfro. Got one to Myers. I think they got to mix it up that way. And that's how you get Adams not double teamed as much as well because they moved him inside a couple times.
Yep.
And they made some plays, and I thought Aidan O'Connell had a lot of control of the offense, and I think he checked into a couple of runs on third down that maybe he shouldn't have. But I mean, maybe he thought he was going to get the yards in those plays, but he had a lot of control. Like they gave him like full control of the offense, which I thought was super interesting for Bo Hardegree to do because he's a rookie, and if you give him all that control, he might make the wrong decision on third down. But he was checking into those plays. You could tell because he was like checking at the line, and then he would check into those runs. So. But then he ended up checking it out of a run into like a quick out when they're playing off on Adams. So that was a really good check. So you saw a lot of good things from him, for him going forward. Of course, he missed a couple throws and the offensive line played pretty well. He didn't really have any pressure. So, I'll check that on film. But I thought he did pretty well.
Yeah, I thought he had a pretty good game. I mean, first half, I think he was like 10 of 11 for like 100 yards or something like that. I mean, like we're talking about, it reminded me a lot of like him in the preseason where it was like he was just kind of throwing the darts, and then all of a sudden takes the one big shot like we were talking about, put everything he had into it. You could tell on that follow through, and it was just enough to hit him down. So that was one of the things that I really liked about him, that and taking care of the ball, because apparently that's a big part of being a starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't know if you knew that there, Marcus, but
yeah.
So no one was there to throw him under the bus this time for having a bunch of fumbles. So that part is like he looked a lot more calm. It looked like he looked more comfortable in his second start. And, I feel like that would have been, I feel like it was a lot harder than just being like a normal second start, and the fact that it wasn't like, back-to-back starts. So lots of and I mean, we'll see how it goes next week and against a pretty damn good defense, but definitely a good restart, I guess we'll say, for Aidan O'Connell after a tough first half against the Chargers in that one start.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a continuation of the second half, or when they went down 24-7 against the Chargers. That continuation of that play, I mean, that was good to see. So I was excited about that. I see people talking about Bo Hardegree. I like what Bo did. I mean, the touchdown was, that was off the tail that everybody's blitzing on, and blitz through when I showed open the gap, right? Everybody blitzed that gap. Myers comes in. That means they're running the football, and they ran a jet sweep off that and got a touchdown. So, so that shows that they're watching, and I don't know why McDaniels didn't figure that out and couldn't tell what teams were trying to do. But Bo Hardegree was probably just pissed off on film. He's probably just watching film like, why don't we just do something to fix that? Or McDaniels like, no.
Well, part of like Rappaport's, I don't know if everybody read like Rappaport's report that came out this morning. It seemed like not only were the players like done with McDaniels, so were the other coaches. So I wonder if that's part of it. They were like literally like sitting there like, this is our tell, like this, we need to break this tendency. And McDaniels, being the stubborn dude he is, like wouldn't do it, probably because it has to be his idea. And then finally somebody else takes over, and guess what? They get a little more creative when we see something that we saw stuff that we didn't have to, that we haven't seen in a while, which I wasn't expecting. I was kind of thinking maybe it'd be a similar offense, but tip my cap to Bo Hardegree for calling a hell of a game, putting up 30 points, showing McDaniels how it's done.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of zone runs. I mean, they started off with a split zone run, which you haven't seen that much of.
So you talking about that on the broadcast, and I'm like, man, like Marcus is gonna be so happy. Like they're finally running zone and getting away from this gap technique. But
yeah, and then look at the run game. Look at it. Look pretty damn good, man. I mean, that was the answer all year to me. It was just switch the zone. But McDaniels is stubborn, obviously, and that had a lot to play with how the Raiders were playing on offense, because he just wouldn't switch it up. I mean, they were doing all the short passes. People have been asking, I thought this was a short passing offense, and then here come all the short passes from Bo Hardegree, because he was running the same offense. It wasn't like he changed it that much. It was just he was calling different plays. He was calling actual plays that fit O'Connell's skill set, which I thought was really good. Throwing it in the middle of the field. You got those blitzes coming. You're gonna have to get those quick reads, like the one that Hunter Renfrow did a good job of getting his head around really quick, because he saw the blitz and he knew that he was gonna get that ball. And those type of things are what you wanted to do, is set up your rookie quarterback to play well. So I thought they set him up to have a good game, and then he ended up playing really well. So we'll see next week. The Jets don't really blitz as much, but their pass rush is pretty damn good. I was about to say, but I remember Bryce Huff, and he has a bunch of pressures, and they got Quentin Williams, and of course they're going to mix it up. And then the secondary is just a whole lot better than the Giants.
It's a much better. I mean, like they don't have like I guess Quentin Williams is the monster. Like Dexter's probably a little bit ahead of where Quentin is, but across the board, their defensive line is really good and really freaking deep. I mean, Solomon Thomas is a guy that's been playing well for him too. That's like riding the bench for them. And of course, like you mentioned, secondary is pretty good. Saul is a pretty damn good head coach, so be a little bit different of a challenge, and we'll see how it comes out, because that'll be another big test to see if this team's for real, man. They could creep back to 500, win against the Jets. It'll be an ugly one, but
yeah. I mean, because the Jets aren't that good on offense. Okay, I mean, they're gonna try to run the ball, but the Raiders defense still showed they can't stop the run. I mean, that linebacker situation is still bad. I see somebody asking about Jalen Smith. I mean, it's hard to really tell on broadcast a little bit. I mean, I thought Murray Burney got way more snaps than him, in my opinion. He did. He got a whole lot more snaps than Jalen Smith.
I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think like they were rotating like in the first half and the first quarter at least. Like, because I remember seeing Smith in there a little bit sooner than I thought he would. And then I think in the second half it was pretty, but it seemed to be primarily Burney. So
I thought Burney, he actually didn't look too bad. I mean, this offense was kind of just done as soon as Daniel Jones went out, so it's kind of hard to judge. I mean, the Raiders better keep Tommy DeVito to 6 points. I was kind of like, oh man, you guys gave up a touchdown to this guy, like passing, like he didn't even pass last week. They were so scared. So they got some more turnovers. They got 8 sacks. They got a lot of they got way more turnovers than you usually get this season. So they got to keep up with that. They didn't have any turnovers on offense, which is a good thing. They got to. I think if they keep with this game plan, like keep with O'Connell making good passes, but not trying to put the ball in his hands where he's throwing the ball 40 times. Have Jacobs be the steady guy, having around like 24 carries a game. I think they can do some things on offense, especially with Adams, and you saw Trey Tucker have a good deep ball. So yeah, I thought it was a good game plan for Bull Hardegree. I'm interested to see the defense though next week, especially they really got to stop the run. The Jets are a lot better. They just don't have a good offensive line, but they're just a better coach team. So especially on offense. So I mean, they're gonna have a good game plan to get that ball to what's his name?
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, yes, the Breece Hall next week on Sunday Night Football. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. But obviously, this team was coached terribly. I mean, that's what we figured out.
I mean, yeah, like if you're McDaniels right now, like not that I care, like you have to be feeling pretty shitty about yourself. Like, man, I really was the problem. Like all these guys, like you have to at least like see a little bit of the reports of like, oh yeah, guys are like no longer like worried about like being in a locker room, are actually excited to go to work, and then they come out and put up 30 points, and like the offense scores more points in the first half than they have all year. Like that's gotta be a big blow to the ego if you're Josh McDaniels sitting at home right now thinking like, damn, they really did just absolutely freaking hate me.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, that was really it's that type of a thing because these guys played totally different football. I mean, they just look excited to be playing football out there, and I think they had a good game plan and everything. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, it goes to show, like, obviously, like scheme's important. Like we talk about that a lot with coaches. Like we talk about this obviously a lot on this channel, but like at the end of the day, like the biggest thing for a head coach at any level, like you've got to be able to connect with the players and able to get these guys to play for you. Because I mean, it's not like Antonio Pierce came in and changed the scheme. It's not like Bill Haggerty did anything that was all that different than they've been doing. I mean, he attacked it differently, but like for the most part, like the guys just wanted to play for Antonio Pierce. Were very clearly they had no care or no reason to play for Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear as hell. And even I saw somebody talk about the meeting that they had. I mean, just him having that meeting and kind of tanking after that. I mean, just shows the type of personality he has. I don't know what he expected. Why do you think that he was doing such a great job? He went to that meeting and thought they weren't going to complain about him. I think that is just kind of shows his self-awareness anyways, because you have to realize that these guys don't like you and they're not really buying into what you're saying, and maybe you should change. Yeah. But he just went to a ball.
It feels like too, like he should have had that meeting probably last year or like at the beginning of this year or way earlier this year. Cause it's like, all right, if you're going to have that meeting and then you just shut down after it, like when you hear again, what you were asking to hear, like that just kind of, like you said, it shows how small your ego is. So it shows how like little you can take criticism. I mean, I saw Mo Moten point this out too. Like McDaniels was never one to like stand up and be like, you can put this on me or whatever. Like this loss is on me. He was very quick to deflect blame to other people. I mean, that shows when you get called out. You know, he tucked his tail between his legs, pretty much.
What a wimp, man! So I'm saying, like, how do you expect to lead men, grown men, and be a whip like that when you can't even take accountability? Especially you want to yell at people, and you want to tell everybody what's bad about them, right? What they're doing wrong and how they're messing up everything, but you can't tell somebody tries to tell you something and you get all upset because I mean they must have went off on him on that meeting.
Yeah,
I mean. I don't know what he expected.
They see right through it. Max Crosby, he sees right through the bullshit. Devontae Adams, he was pretty vocal about seeing right through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not dealing with, kids anymore. Like they see right through your crap and they see a fraud when they know one. And obviously, very clearly, Josh McDaniels is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. He needs to be the coach of Yale or something. Go coach of Yale. You can yell at kids or something. I don't know. Yale, I don't know. It's some FCS school, South Dakota State. That he can yell at people. All he wants. Yeah, then they're gonna listen to you. They're kids, man. They gotta yell at you.
Go to John Carroll. Go back.
Go back to John Carroll, man. Go back to John Carroll and coach there because, yeah. But we're gonna see more about this team next week. I think the Giants. I think this was a great outing, though. I mean, they looked like they were gonna win this game anyways, no matter if Daniel Jones was playing. I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. Honestly, they look like they look like they were gonna win this game anyways. I mean, it might have been a little bit closer. It might not have been as ugly, but the Giants. They weren't really moving the football anyways. And for some reason, they didn't try to run the ball a lot today, which I don't know what that game plan was about. I mean, especially with Barkley had like 7 yards per carry, like something like that. If I look,
I think part of it is when they dig themselves when they get dug into a 20-point hole.
Yeah, but even like early in the game, like they came out passing. I was like, what are you? And then like the next drive, he gets like 30 yards or 3 carries. It's like, what are you guys doing over there? So I mean, I think they're all mixed up a little bit. Brian Dable doesn't get as much as the Patriots coach guy as the other guys get. But we'll see how that continues going. But it's not our team anymore. We ain't got to worry about that. But yeah. But defensively, Max Crosby had 3 sacks. Tyree Wilson, he got a sack. He beat Andrew Thomas around the corner.
Yeah.
Meek Robertson had a game. But go ahead.
Okay, I will say this was like Max Crosby. When I saw he had 3 sacks, I'm like, really? Like, I felt like I was kind of a little disappointed with him, like, coming into this game. Like, all 3 of his sacks were like, I felt they were caused by pressure from other people, or like the boot rollout where like DeVito runs 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. I feel like he knew it too. He like started celebrating or whatever and like joking, like screwing around. I'm like, yeah, like that was, I mean, he deserves it because he's gotten screwed out of so many in the past, but like that was the cheapest 3 sack performance I've ever seen. But hey, that's what happens when you play every play and you have the motor that he does. So good for him. But yeah.
Yeah, it was a good defensive performance, though. I'm just happy they didn't make Tommy DeVito look pretty good, because we're looking at Tyson Bagent. I mean, he looked terrible today. And they made him look really damn good. And that's what I was talking about, like how much does Josh McDaniels have to do with his defense? Because I feel like they're a lot more aggressive today. I don't know if Antonio Pierce is pushing that. I feel like they're a little bit more aggressive, with the blitz, and maybe that's because they're playing the type of quarterbacks they're playing. But even with Daniel Jones, I saw a blitz on the first drive, and they haven't been blitzing, and they're playing a lot of soft coverage. They're playing a lot of man. That's why those guys are getting beat like down the field. So they were playing man early on. It wasn't zone, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit of change of philosophy there a little bit. I don't know. I know when I talked to Nick Filato and, Dan Shire about the Giants, he said they're still Patrick Graham was soft there, but I feel like they're a little more aggressive today.
Yeah, I felt like a little bit too. Like you're talking about like the Meek play, like Meek ended up having a great like finishing pretty strong, but like there's that one where I don't even know what he was looking at with Jalen Hyatt. Like, I mean, he like the way the Meek ran, like it looked like Jalen Hyatt put a double move on him, but on the replay, it looks like he just ran a go. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. Thank God for Trevon Merrick to force him out and for a terrible ball. But yeah, a little bit more aggressive. I feel like they came out in the soft zone, and then after a while they figured out what you got to comment in the chat or something.
Yeah, this guy just making fun of me because he said I look sad. I mean, I'm just happy. I'm good, man. I'm happy about actually this looks. I'm just chilling. You know what I mean? I'm just chilling. Yeah. All right. But yeah. Is it defensively? I mean, they got to. I think Meek Robertson played really well. I want to talk about him a little bit. I thought he played pretty damn well. I mean, he gave that big play early on, and then it seems like every time he does that, he plays really well, and he had a couple pass breakup. And
he had the Meek Robertson game. Like, you come out of the game, you give up a big play, get pissed off, and then he ends up making a couple more plays down the stretch. You're like, all right, okay, I guess that makes up for it. But yeah, it was the typical like Meek, like he's got to get beat before he can start winning first.
Yeah,
or whatever. And he got a sack too, or was that Mara got the sack?
Right. Mara got the sack. Yeah, Mara got the sack. Yeah, I mean, Mountain Coos got his first sack of the year off of Daniel Jones' knees buckling. So
Coons got the credit for it. Yeah. That is the thing, is like it's an 8 sack performance, and we just went over like 4 of them that were cheap ones, but hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say John Jenkins, I felt like had a pretty good game. I think he might have had a couple of tackles for loss and got some pressure in there a little bit. Took advantage of those weak guards we were talking about from the Giants.
Yeah. I will say, because I see this, so we got a question here. The biggest surprise of the game. And I see somebody say that the O-line, and I agree with that, because I do think we didn't hear Dexter Lawrence all game, and I was scared. So I props to, I don't know what happened. I'm gonna give props to Andre James right now, because even if he was getting his butt kicked, I mean, it wasn't bad enough.
He was at least a speed bump in the equation where he wasn't letting them make plays. Which again,
exactly,
if you watch the preview show, that is a hell of an accomplishment, because that dude was on a mission last week. And Andre James, we gotta give him his credit, man. Give him a lot of crap on the show.
Yeah, man. I mean, Andre James, man, I'll give you some credit, bro, because that was a dog. And I don't know if they helped him or they try to do some more double teaming. I don't know what the game plan was, but we'll see. And when they blitzed, they kind of got home a little bit, but it was good enough for me. Yeah, that was some good offensive line play, and it was good enough to keep Aidan in there. So a couple times Aidan was just holding the ball a little bit, making sure that he's holding the ball a little bit, able to find guys downfield. So he had plenty of time down there, man. So
I also felt like too, like this was probably the best like run blocking game I've seen from him in a while. Not perfect by any means, but like feel like the holes were there a little bit more to pick up for the offensive line.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was excited about the offensive line play too. I mean, they look pretty good in the run game too, man. I mean, they look like they were continuing from last week. Last week they looked pretty good, but like I said, you put them in some zone. I mean, hey, look at these guys.
So
They're not trying to. They're the maul people. You know, you got Dylan Parham trying to maul somebody, and the only person that could do that is Cole Miller, and they're able to move around and do some zone and get the running game going, man. It was actually pretty nice to watch out. Yeah, it was just overall good game, man. This was exciting. Right. I know you really go, I moved, but I was excited about this, man. I guess I was just done with the game like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. It was nice to be on this side of a blowout. It was nice to be on this side of a blowout, but like there is like a lot less to talk about when it's like, all right, there's not much like negative, not much bad we can say, like really. Like
it's like
that was it.
Yeah, the run defense is pretty good. I mean, run defense is bad, but it's been bad all year. I still don't like Spillane, and I still, Spillane's still getting dragged by guys. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson was dragging him a little bit. I'm like, come on, dog, Wan'Dale Robinson. He's like 5'9", 180, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, there was a couple plays where he was matched up on him. I'm like, what? This is not what we were hoping for.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, so hopefully, Luke Masterson come back. I think Masterson can come back and play a little bit better linebacker there, get more physical. I thought he was playing some games in there, so maybe the defense can play the run a little bit better next week because they're going to need to, because the Jets are going to try to pound the rock on them. I know they're going to do that. They don't want Zach Wilson passing too much. They got to worry about Garrett Wilson a little bit, and I think they're going to try to get Garrett Wilson on Marcus Peters, who is up and down this year. He gave up that touchdown. I don't know what the hell he was doing on that play. I don't know why you would squeeze on the flat and then leave the smash right behind you. You've been in the NFL too long for that. That was my thing.
Yeah, I also felt like that was on Merrick though, because like they had someone in the flat, and like and Merrick is supposed to be the two ice. There was nothing else like holding Merrick in the middle of the field, like or on the hash like he was. Like I felt like Merrick should have widened out to get him too. But
yeah, I mean that is true. I mean it is cover two. I mean I don't know what they were looking at. They're probably just chilling.
Because if Peters bails, then they're going underneath the flat, so they can hit the touchdown too. Either way,
is it Morick? Oh no, it's Spillane, huh? Spillane leads the team in interceptions, doesn't he?
I think Spillane and Merrick are tied with 2. Okay. Meek's now tied with 2 too. Yeah, so I think they have 3 guys with 2.
Yeah. So yeah, I see that major test for AOC. It's gonna be a big test for him next week. What else we got here? Everybody's compared Meek to Seth Roberts. I thought that was funny. I saw that on Twitter. That's hilarious. This is a funny clip. What did Nesta is going off on people? Did he play a lot today?
He played some. He had one nice play. That was it. What did he say? I didn't even see.
You can't say that, Matt. That's what he said. So
I saw that part, but I wasn't gonna say that part. I just was like, I wasn't sure what he was talking about. I guess. But I appreciate you not getting canceled out.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got your back.
Trust me.
All right. Bullhard agree. Had a good script. I see people asking about BD still. BD just, he's being BD. I can't really explain it. He's not gonna be. I don't know. We don't know, guys. I don't think he's gonna be back anytime soon. So, any other questions you got here?
Me.
Yeah. You're stuck with Matt.
Stuck with me, and not being able to repeat Nesta.
All right. What else? Bullhard agree. I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say it was such a clean game. It makes for a quick type of instant reaction here. I love how many people we got here. If you guys have any questions, we're here. We got almost 450. It's a good game. Like I said, we're finally get some. I can do some breakdown some quarterbacks this week. I'm excited. I've been terrified of breaking down Jimmy Garoppolo. I've been avoiding it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's frustrating for me to do. Now I get some excitement. I can critique a guy because he's got to get better. He's in year 1. It's not year 10. I can be like, okay, hey, maybe he can do this better next time. I can feel like maybe he can get better at something. Improvement. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot more fun breaking down Aidan O'Connell film than what we've been seeing from Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, and then Michael Mayer got some checkdowns this week. Almost got my Michael Mayer anytime touchdowns. I was upset about that. It was so close. I was like, it was just a little bit more push. Get that ball. I thought he was going to get the ball across. Damn it. I was like, damn. Didn't get that anytime touchdown, but it was close. I thought he might get it. But we're looking pretty good, man. It's going to be different next week. I know that.
Yeah.
We'll see how the Jets play against the Chargers. You know, they get up for quarterbacks. I feel like they might get up for a superstar quarterback more than they might get up for Aidan O'Connell, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, how many times did they run dagger? I don't know. I don't think they ran it this week.
They got completely away from it, and that was the difference. That's going to be great.
I mean, I don't think I saw dagger this week. I don't know. I'll wait till I get to the field. Maybe there's a play downfield he didn't take. But yeah, you think they lose if Jimmy? Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. For some reason.
Somebody asked me this in the mailbag, and I looked it up. Basically, like the Raiders, if we're getting into it, have two options. Have 28 million in dead cap, a little bit more than that. 28 million in change in dead cap that they're going to have to eat on Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. If they do it in pre-June 1st transaction, all 28 is like this next year. So like if they're not going to be active in free agency anyway, might as well eat the cap hit, or they're going to spread it out 15 and 13.
Yeah.
So not ideal either way, but like they could make it work where it's just one eating it for 1 year if they want to.
Yeah.
Or spread it out over two.
But that's
why
didn't you restructure it? See, that's my thing. My thing is they had the injury guarantee already in there. What did they restructure it for? It was like they should have.
Again, going back to the Rappaport report about McDaniels, like thinking that Garoppolo would be able to pick up the offense, but then also when he had the out and he had a chance to back out and realize, oh shit, this isn't going to work. When Garoppolo failed his physical, that was their chance to get out right then, and they didn't take it. And then they knew going into the season he wasn't going to play practice till training camp. And what do you know? Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't comfortable in the offense that he hadn't played in 7 years and didn't start practicing until a month before the season.
It's the restructure is why they have all that dead cap goes. Why did you do it? Did you really believe that Jimmy Garoppolo?
I know when he hadn't even practiced yet. I'm just saying, like they had a chance to get out of it and they didn't do it.
All right. Do you think they are going to let AOC throw more deep shots? I'll say this. I'll say AOC's skill set is for a quick passing game. So I think if they need to get more fades, like to play to Jacoby Myers, they need to do more things like that. I think a lot of those deep passes that he threw to Tucker, you got to be timely with him because one, even on film, he's not the most accurate guy. There's probably some underthrows, but the fades, those type of throws, the quick seams, play action, quick seam throws, those are the type of throws you can get downfield with him, in my opinion. But I did like the game plan because he's so good on the slant routes that you can get a lot of yak like he did. His YPA is still like 8.2 or something like that, onto like 26 passes. So you can get those slants. He gets a lot of yak on those, which is a big deal, and it helps create more explosive plays as well. So, but I wouldn't expect too many deep balls, man. I'm just gonna keep.
He's more the guy like we've been talking about. Like he's gonna take 4 or 5 or he's gonna kind of lull you to sleep with those like intermediate throws, and then all of a sudden he's gonna drop one or two deep ones down a game, maybe 3 or 4.
So I see this question a couple times. Why is it so hard to get Adams the ball? I see another one, and then I see Davante Adams usage concern. In this game, I don't know if it was that much of a concern to me. I think they just got to figure out ways to move him around a little bit, and I can start to see that. And they got to have a little more focus on getting him the football. Do some of those screens. I liked how he switched out of the play and threw him the ball. They just got to get him more worked into the football game. I still think he had the most targets on the team. When I look, he had the most targets. He had 7 targets. So I mean, he had a drop, right? There was one play where that was a great, probably. I mean, that O'Connell really hit the thread right there on that one. That was a great throw, and he ended up dropping that one. So he still led the team in targets. So even though it seems like he didn't get the ball that much, he had the most targets on the team, 7. He has the most catches on the football team. He had the most receptions. Just didn't have the most yards. So I mean, they're still trying to get him the football. It's just if you want to win with O'Connell, you can't. I don't think you could throw 40 times at this point. So
yeah. And I feel like too, like Wink's defense being so man coverage heavy, like where they can like put a guy in press and then put the safety over the top. Like it's a little easier to take away the number 1 versus like a zone heavy system. But yeah. So that's kind of what that's his MO. He's kind of like Belichick in that way, where he's like just gonna make somebody else beat you. And then Raiders had a good job of getting the other guys to step up and again spread the ball around today. So,
yeah. So and like he still led the team in targets. So I think that kind of shows there still is a focus to give him the football. I think they just got to be, find even better ways. You know what I mean? Like I really feel like they got to move him inside a lot more because as soon as he goes inside, a lot of these teams are still playing zone in the NFL. And you move him inside, you're going to get him one-on-one on a linebacker playing zone. I mean, that's the way the NFL is moving at this point. I mean, even the Jets don't play a lot of man-to-man. So if you move him inside, you're going to get him away from Sauce Gardner, and you can get him the football. It's just so he doesn't stay outside like that. And I did want to point out that Jacoby Myers played in the slot for like the first time all year. I don't know what the PFF stat is, but we actually put a slot receiver inside this week, and I wanted to appreciate Bo just for that. Just for that, guys. I mean, you could put him outside too, but if it's a 3-by-1, maybe you want to put Jacoby Myers inside with Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, which we thought was going to happen, but it didn't.
And then what happens? Oh, he gets a big first down the first time he does it. Like it's just everything just sets. This whole game just seems so simple from my mind. It was like everything that was missing. Bo Hardiger is just like, you know what? Let's do that. I mean, hey, why is Jacoby Myers playing outside? He's a slot receiver his whole career. Maybe we should move him inside, and then he gets some big plays. I mean, because he even had a drop in there and a couple plays. So. God, this guy Josh McDaniels was awful. That's all this game taught us. Did the run game look different? Yes, a lot of zone, man. It's just he was so terrible. He's awful. Like it was like some of these things are just so simple. I don't like such simple fixes.
Yeah, no argument here. I'm just letting you go off right now.
God, all right, man. Any other questions? How do I feel about Jacobs losing 100 yards? I don't know. That was kind of funny. I don't know why they kept running the ball at the end of the game. I don't know.
To get negative 2 yards.
They should have put Zamir White in, but
they had him in there for a while, and then they weren't running the ball at all. I felt bad because it was like the first run Zamir had that I noticed that was like it was like a net loss for negative yards. I'm like, well, he also had so many. It was also probably the worst blocking job they've had all night.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer two more questions. I see another one that I like. Can we use Devontae like he was in Green Bay? But I'll get to that later. But I kind of talked about it a little bit. Did you guys see Samir play? I don't know. He looked
a little bit. Yeah. He didn't. Like I said, he didn't get a lot of help from the O-line, but he didn't look great. The problem is he's not a zone back. So if they are going to commit to zone, then they've got to find someone else.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Oh man. This is the last question I want to take. How good does AOC have to be to prevent us from drafting a quarterback? This is a good question, Matt. We should end it on this one.
Do I have to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
This is bullshit. Why do I have to answer this one first? I mean, I think that's a tough one to answer. I feel like I want to see him like if he can keep playing like this, where it's like he stays turnover free and like he can keep the high completions and percentage up and like can stay accurate and drop a couple deep bombs every game so often. If you can keep that up for like the rest of the year and most of the games throughout the year, then I would say maybe that it keeps him out from drafting him. But yeah, right now it's still going to be pretty hard to like will the way things stand for me to be like, yeah, they should definitely not draft a quarterback. But yeah, I feel like if we see at least like 3 or 4 more games like today, then I would be less inclined.
See, I think the only thing he can do is keep the Raiders from drafting a first-round quarterback. I still think they should draft a quarterback no matter what. And I think some of these guys, just from watching it, I know there's a lot of buzz where a lot of these guys everybody's going first round. I know that's what we do. Every quarterback goes first round, all 8 of them. But I think there's going to be a bunch of guys this year that are going to be available in the second round. Like, I watch Penix tape, and I know Penix has a lot of buzz, but I just feel like he's a second round guy. I feel like even like the dude from Florida State, Jordan Travis. I think he's a second round guy. There's a lot of guys you could bring in that could give AOC competition next year. And then if AOC keeps them from playing, great. If AOC doesn't keep that guy from playing, then we move on to the other guy. And that's why I think you have to look at it. But still, in my opinion, I think he isn't going to keep me from drafting another quarterback early. Maybe I wouldn't draft one in the first round, but second round, I'm still looking. Because unless he just goes out, unless he balls, I need like a 33 for 40 and him looking fantastic and throwing for like 350 yards. That's what I would need to see for me to be like, okay, we're not drafting somebody. Even a loss. If he did that in a loss and they lost the game and he looked like that, I would be like, okay, all right, I see what you got there, but if we're staying in this like 16 to 25 type of thing, and we're like running the ball, we're trying to keep him safe and those type of things, we're drafting a guy. That's how I look at it.
The way I was thinking of it was in the first round, but and to
Yeah.
answer the question a little bit, if they keep winning, he'll really prevent them from drafting a quarterback because they won't be out without reach. This win, like winning 4 games, is going to be hard to be in the top 5 with how bad some of these teams are, like the Cardinals and the Giants.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, AOC could be a starter, but
it's going to be hard to be like going into next year being like, this guy's the guy.
Yeah, he is the guy. Like
like you said, to lights it up.
We got a lot of season left.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he has all that time to show us. But like just right now, because even watching this game, right now, I like the second round or something like that, I might, if somebody I really like falls there, which I think some quarterbacks started to fall because we haven't even talked about all the other players in this draft yet. Really, during this time of draft season, we only talk about the quarterbacks. We don't talk about we don't talk about the tackles. We don't talk about the offensive tackles. We don't talk about the offensive guards. We don't talk about the cornerbacks, right? We really talk about the linebackers. It's all quarterbacks. So I think somebody who we really like or who fans really like is going to fall to the second round, and I think they got to take a chance on one of those guys. But like Cam Ward, I mean Jordan Travis, he looks pretty good. Bo Nix, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys.
Good guy in the second round.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else you want to talk about, Matt? I think we can get out of here now.
I think that's good, man.
All right, guys. We're out of here. We appreciate everybody coming in here. It was a blowout. That was great to watch. Finally, I haven't watched a Raiders blowout in a minute.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while, guys, for a Raiders full-on blowout. I felt like I wanted to stop watching the game. I started watching the Cowboys and Eagles game more than that one. It was like 27-0. I was like, wow, it felt really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was
nice.
Very good. It was nice. It was nice. Very relaxing Sunday. All right. All right, guys. We're out of here. Like I said, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, it's your first time here with the live. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Get us up to 10,000. We're almost there. We're about around like 9,850. Get us up to 10,000. We're so close. Keep pushing. Share this with your friends. This is one of our highest lives. We keep pushing for that, guys. So keep coming, man. We're going to keep this going. Like I said, there'd be a whole lot more content coming out. So check it out, guys.
Appreciate you guys.